Hello, everyone. I am doing just fine. I haven't looked at YouTube or Facebook in 2 days, and I am really learning a lot. I am I am really finding out what kind of world we're living in, and it is bad. It's bad. Uh wow, the weather has been crazy. It's all these Oh, the earth is really it's it just act like it's angry. It's just so much going on, and they just don't know. These people that call themselves Christian, they just don't know. They acting like they representing God on earth, and then they are actually trying to say that the Jewish people is God's chosen people. The way they acting, I've been hearing a lot about how they are really trying to kill off the Palestinians and take over their land. They want that land. That they've been wanting it. They've been trying to get it. Oh my goodness! And they are just bulldozing people, children, old people. They don't care. And people really want to act like they are. What kind of God is they worshiping? That is okay with you killing their creator, because God created everything and everybody. It's hard to believe. And now that I've been reading my newspapers and news and looking at local news and stuff, boy, and it's amazing how, and it's true that uh, politicians are really trying to take over the media, so the media won't be all up in their business, telling their business. Like, duh, you're not keeping nothing secret because somebody knows it. But what they're trying to do is they don't want their constituents to know. They don't care about us knowing. Okay, but just like this, our criminal president. Here it is. It's talking about Capital One is coming out that their accounts was closed because they are being suspicious of money laundering. And then it just came out that the Trump administration is scaling back policies that could stop people from easily money laundering. Suspicious? They ain't talking about that. How Trump has had so many of the Russian oligarchs buying his property. But and we knew that before he even became elected. We knew that. But he still got elected. It says in a new court filing, Capital One told a federal judge that roughly 385 accounts connected to Trump's family business, his son Eric Trump, and a series of affiliated companies were shut down in mid 2021. Why didn't he bring that up at the Democrat convention. That's why I said these people. We need some smart people because we our opponent is a criminal, and criminals would do anything to stay a criminal. After extensive anti-money laundering review, and not because the bank didn't want to associate with the then ex-president. Okay, this is so people get on my nerves talking about, oh, they just hate Trump. Uh Duh, if you like Trump, then you must be a criminal. If you like Trump, you must like pedophiles. If you like Trump, you must like people that rape children. Okay? So I didn't like him before he even became president. And I couldn't understand why these rappers were putting his name in their song and all of this stuff. So, it's just what it is. People, they'll do anything to be connected to people with money. Because money is their life. And he's still president. Nobody's saying nothing. What is going on? What is going on? Trump DOJ submits unredacted Epstein records after Katie Fain court win. Okay, so what do you think is going to happen with that? Nothing. If your tariff was 0%, there's no need to commit fraud. The White House is signing off on a 112 billion tariff dodging scheme. It made worse. The onslaught of tariff was initially meant to grow government revenue. However, they may have inadvertently enabled a multi-billion-dollar tax scheme for the U.S. economy. Companies have found tactics to evade the sky-high tariffs and are engaging in fraud that could have dire consequences for the country, including lowered federal tax revenues and reduced GDP. What is going on? See, when you have people that don't know what they're doing, don't know nothing about government, how the government works, how it affects people's daily lives, making these decisions based on their bank account and their friend's bank account. And that's it. And then when the shit hit the fan, oh, they out of office. They on their way to the Bahamas. The White House is now cracking down on tariff dodgers. In a report on Tuesday, the administration chronicled the magnitude of the problem and outlined how it is trying to curb it. It claimed that the U.S. is losing between 19 billion to 26 billion in tax revenue annually as a result of countries routing exports through other countries in order to evade levies in a process called transshipment. Really? Okay. Now, that's just like drugs. The government is getting their money off the top. They don't care if we have to pay $20 for a pack of turkey wings. Either you pay it or you eat canned chicken. They don't care. If we only got enough money to buy enough gas to get to work and back. Forget going to the store, which that's a whole nother story because lately I've been hearing about a lot of shooting and stabbings and fightings at Kroger's and Walmart. What's up with that? Not dollar store, Burger King, Wendy's. Why are these people going out in public acting like this? Because they don't have no home training. And why they don't have home training? Because people got to work their ass off 8 to 10 hours a day, 5, 6 days a week, sometimes 2 jobs to put food on the table and pay the bills. So the kids are left at home or with somebody that's not teaching them nothing either. Yeah, it's a full circle. People make me sick thinking that, oh, I'm doing the right thing. So no, it don't matter what you do at your house. If everybody is not acting like you got sense, it don't matter what you do. It don't matter how good you raise your kids. You're gonna raise your kids nice. You're gonna put them on some nice clothes, and they're gonna go out there to catch the bus stop, and some fool is gonna shoot them and take their shoes. Come on now, we gotta wake up. But getting back to this, I didn't get way off. I don't know how I got off. I don't know how I got there. But now this is another thing. They always make things worse. Like they said, everything Trump touches turns to shit. And that is so true. This is something that wasn't even called for, these tariffs. What? Launching closer to launching bank. They uh, these Trumps is a trap. I knew they trying to open a bank. The Trump family pathway to opening a bank through cryptocurrency investments is sending shockwaves, according to the reporting by the Wall Street Journal. A trust company for World Liberty Financial, the Trump family flagship crypto venture, has preliminarily conditionally approved to become a bank. Wow. See, in anybody else's world that was really keen on law and order, they could never do all this because they are criminals and they would not be allowed to run a company like this. Oh my goodness. You seriously? Senator Elizabeth Warren wrote in a statement that we have never seen financial conflicts or corruptions of this magnitude. President Donald Trump and his two sons launched World Liberty in late 2024, but not have yet made available promising borrowing, lending, and trading services. Uh, why are they so money hungry? What is going on? Where did these people come from? Is it God's money? What the hell? God's money. White House enrages with vow that public cash belongs to evangelicals. I can't never say that. Oh no, oh no, no. The White House official taxpayer funds being spent to address homelessness, God's money, a move expert called the escalation of evangelical religious rhetoric. Oh my goodness. What is going on? What is going on? I need to I'm not ready to subscribe yet. You won't hear this on Newsmax, Fox News, ONN, or none of these major news outlets. Wow, this is amazing. We are really being oops, we are really being used. We are really being used. We are really being used like a dirt rag. Now this is something that we need to really keep an eye, especially on that Bassett guy, because he is whew, corrupt to the core. He's the one that's trying to help them launder money and his Russian friends. He looked like he's Russian. He looked like he could have been one of those brown shirts. To tell you the truth, I'm telling you, it's scary out here. It is scary out here. Um, permanently ends beneficial. They permanently ended it. Why? Because if you permanently end it, it's going to take a while to get it back up running. Um, yeah, yeah, you have this man calling us communists. Friends are communists. Friends with dictators. Fascist. He's not one. Now, he calls us a communist, but he's the one that's friends with Nazis, white supremacists, and dictators. I have yet to see any of us friends with anybody like that. But yet we called one. He's friends with pedophiles, criminals, but yet he's not one. How does that work? Come on now, we got to get smarter than this. We have to get smart. Our kids depend on us to be smart. Now we've been doing stuff with now all of a sudden, I think he's getting scared and he's lashing out at everybody. It's a shame. It's just a shame.
Think is President Trump signaling?
We don't know. So this is rather remarkable to have the president step in at really the last minute. As he pointed out, he can't stop the exercise because it's already ongoing. And so it's really, it really speaks to the issue of U.S. reliability. And I've said before, I may be a little unpredictable with this sort of thing.
The leader of U.S. Central Command is praising the crew, Abraham Lincoln, for their resilience. Admiral Bradley Cooper met with troops on the warship after reports of mental health struggles and poor conditions aboard. The aircraft carrier and its crew have been deployed for more than 250 days, which President Trump says is not nearly long enough. CBS News senior national security correspondent Charlie Daggett joins us from our D.C. bureau with more on this. Charlie, good morning. Always great to see you. What do you make of the Admiral's visit?
Good morning, Errol. Good to have you back. So military leadership is putting a lot of effort into telling us everything's okay here. As you said, Central Command made a point of showing Admiral Brad Cooper's visit to the USS Lincoln over the weekend, releasing these images that you're looking at. Members of Congress raised concerns about conditions on the carrier during its roughly 9-month deployment. In a statement, Cooper called his time on the ship awe-inspiring, and he emphasized it has among the lowest number of mental health cases of the Navy's 11 active aircraft carriers. Then, in a corresponding Wall Street Journal op-ed on Sunday, he said he'd addressed the crew and told them, "You've delivered a performance for the ages, and now you're going home." He also insisted that issues related to food, hot water, and other concerns had been raised months ago and were resolved. Now, as for exactly when this ship is coming home, Cooper didn't give specifics, and U.S. officials I spoke to say they won't share a timeline for its return, which is standard for security reasons, but said it'll be a matter of weeks before 5,000 sailors and Marines return.
Oh my goodness. Isn't it so strange?
Over the weekend, President Trump posted this picture of himself with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, and then he announced the scaling back of military exercises between the U.S. and South Korea. So what do you think? Is President Trump signaling to try to get Kim Jong-un back to the table?
Yeah, it's really hard. They're hard to say. There are a lot of details that obviously we don't know. So
the Trump administration has announced a new 50% tariff on about $20 billion worth of goods that the U.S. imports from Canada. And this 50% tariff would go on top of any other tariffs that those goods are already facing. These are set to take effect just a month after they were announced, so that'll be August 19th.
In some respects, President Trump seems very obsessed with Canada, even though they're a relatively small problem.
A few things are happening here. One is trying to gain some leverage over Canada, but more broadly, they're also trying to send a message to any number of U.S. trading partners. Anybody that retaliates against the U.S. could face this sort of tariff if they do something that the Trump administration doesn't like. The USMCA was President Trump's signature achievement in his first term on the trade front, but just 6 years later, when it was up for renewal this summer, he decided he didn't want to extend it. That leaves the USMCA in a little bit of limbo. The U.S. has been negotiating with Mexico. We've seen U.S. officials in Mexico City, but Canada is not at the table in the same way, and that does appear to be now seeing this next round of tariffs. The Trump administration.
This sounds like we are dealing with a crazy man. He's all over the place. All he's doing is creating more problems. Problems on top of problems. He solves nothing. He has solved nothing. Oh my goodness.
President Trump is staring down brutal predictions ahead of the midterm elections. His golden age economy pitch fizzling, with voters worried about an endless war and high prices. If you look at Truth Social, it might appear Trump has pivoted to 2028 and whether he might somehow be allowed to run for a third term. But at least one could.
Why is that coming out people's mouths? The man is 80 some years old, can't walk in a straight line, falling asleep in meetings, got all kind of health problems, and yet we are actually talking about he might run for another third term. That is not even legal. It's crazy. The stuff that they report on is just ludicrous. It's just dumb, especially these dumbass people. New tariffs on Canadian
The
imports.
tariff war is heating up once again. We're just days away from quickly new import taxes hitting Canada, America's trading partner. Earlier this week, the U.S. offered a new proposal.
We are 78 days away from the midterms, and for Democrats trying to take back control in Washington, and I'm pretty sure that is all of them, there's one primary objective in mind: protect this election. My dear friend and colleague.
Okay, the weather's getting bad again.
Chris Jansen had the very rare opportunity to speak with Democratic Party leaders in Texas, South Carolina, Nevada, Michigan, and Kentucky. And here's what the party head in Texas had to say.
Look, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. These old, stuck in the 60s, tunnel vision minded people are trying to lead us to victory. We are in trouble.